The other night, sorry if it's kind of hard to understand what I'm saying or if I have a lisp, because the other night I got in a fight with a black guy and he punched me in the lip, in the mouth, and my teeth actually pierced through my lip. And
through the skin above your chin.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I kind of have a lisp right
Skid
now.
Row is crazy, isn't it?
Actually, that was in MacArthur Park. Are we good?
Yes, Max. Okay. Maxine?
Yeah, Maxine.
Maxine.
So I was born in Bakersfield, California. My mom is, she was using pills and I believe uppers at the time. And my dad, he's always used crystal meth. He was in prison when I was born, actually, and most of my childhood. My mom and my dad never married. So my mom ended up marrying my stepdad when I was about 4, and he kind of raised me. And I know my mom still has severe depression. At one point, she actually tried to kill herself, and she wanted to take me and my sister, my older sister, with her.
Wow. How old were you?
I think 5 or 6. I'm not sure. My sister's 9 years older than me.
How was she proposing to do this?
Something about, I think, I'm not really sure. Yeah. I haven't asked for details about that story.
No, you don't need them.
But so my mom married my stepdad when I was 4 or 5, around that time, and then I spent most of my time with my grandparents because both my mom and my stepdad were using drugs, and my dad was in prison or using drugs. And my older sister is my half sister, so I spent a lot of time with my dad's mom. They basically raised me from the first part of my childhood, and my stepdad was diagnosed with lung cancer whenever I was in 4th grade, and he passed away. But whenever he was diagnosed, my mom, they both cleaned up their act, and we had moved to Colorado before then, and we came back to California. And when my stepdad passed away, my mom, she was always a cool parent, but she kind of turned into the strict parent. She just wanted the perfect family. And my older sister was kind of she did what she had to do, she was a good kid, and she got a job, and she wasn't much trouble for my mom, but I was always really rebellious. And from the age of 13, I was in and out of juvenile hall, constant runaway, and always wanted to do something my mom didn't want me to do. Piercings, different hair color, whatever. She always didn't like anything I wanted to do. And I started using crystal meth when I was 13, along with spice and, of course, marijuana. But I lived in Oildale in Bakersfield, which is a mostly white neighborhood, if you're familiar. And there's a lot of drugs out there. And I was addicted to spice for 2 years, and I stayed on meth. Unless I was in juvenile hall, I was basically using drugs. I remember one time I got arrested and I weighed 92 pounds, and I'm 5'8", so that's really bad. But I came out here when I was 17. Eventually my mom just said she didn't want me anymore, and I got sentenced to placement in juvenile hall, so I had to wait for a group home. And they sent me out here to Long Beach. And after a month there, I ended up running from there, and I've been in LA since. I mean, I've cleared up. I eventually got sent back to Bakersfield to clear up my probation and stuff like that, like, because I got caught up out here. And I visited, but I don't see much of my family anymore, except for my dad. My dad, actually, he still is using, but my birth dad, we've gotten really close. But he moved back to Bakersfield too. But when I came out here, I was living on the side of the freeway in a tent, and that's when I started slamming meth and eventually heroin. And I actually I would only use needles. I stopped smoking everything, you know. And my ex-boyfriend, my best friend, when we got together, he told me that he would do anything it took to get me to stop using needles. And eventually he did. And since then, I don't use them very often. Mm-hmm. And I think that saved my life, you know.
So like, today you're using fentanyl, or?
Yeah, I'm using fentanyl. I started using fentanyl when I was 19. Yeah. Like right around the first time it came around.
It's hard to be a heroin addict and not get exposed to fentanyl.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, my ex, like he saved my life, and you know, I have a lot of love for him. But we were together for 6 years, and our relationship just turned really toxic. Like, I was really abusive when we got together, and I guess eventually you're gonna defend yourself whenever a girl punches you in the face, right? Mm-hmm. After so many times. But then it just turned into like a lot of physical abuse from him. But I think we're both equally responsible for that, you know. And the scar on my face, the one on my nose, my lip, I got that when our dog was stolen. Some girl was talking shit to me, and I was gonna beat her up, and she pulled a knife out and lunged at me, sliced me. My teeth were showing through my lips that time too, on top. But I was gonna go to the hospital, but I've never gotten stitches. I've never broken a bone. I sat outside the hospital for like 9 hours. Didn't go in, didn't get stitches or anything. But
why is that? Because you didn't want to go without the
drug? I was scared. that too, but I was scared of, like, I don't like hospitals, you know. But yeah, like recently, about a year and a half ago, my ex, we split up, and he left. I think it's the only time I've ever kicked, like, out of jail, because I was so broken up. Like, I was standing on the corner waiting for him for 3 days without any drugs or anything. And, like, he's the one who broke my front tooth. Yeah, but I mainly survive off of either, you know, stealing from stores, or, you know, selling what I have or what I have to. And
that gets into sex work sometimes?
It has once or twice, but I try to stick to not doing that. Yeah. A lot of like kind of borderline stuff, like I'm like more like porn. But not. And I've gotten ripped off doing that too, so right now I'm trying to figure out how to get my life together. And I have been for a while, but now it's like, I don't know. My most recent relationship was I thought that was gonna work out, but it didn't. And that's whenever I started doing Xanax. And honestly, like, it's really hard, like, maintaining multiple addictions. And it's really hard, like, when you have to do it alone whenever you don't have anybody else, and you can't trust anybody out here. That's like the worst part. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm losing it, you know? Sometimes I feel like that I must be crazy, because reality, like, if everything I believe in, everything I've trusted, like, things that, like, I believed, like, people I thought were good or something I thought was the right thing to do, if I'm always wrong, what's real, you know? Like, I question reality constantly, like, because, like, you never know when someone or something is, like, not the real thing. And it's, like, really, really, I guess, like, it's hard for me because I still have hope most of the time, you know? Like, I still have hope in people. And I try to see the best in the worst people, because I just do. That's who I am, you know? I guess maybe it comes, like, I'm depressed like 99% of the time, but I guess I get that from my mom, the bipolar disorder from my dad, OCD from my mom, and self-medicating is, like, it's hard to get your shit together out here. Every time you think, like, you get an ID, you get you finally think that your things are, like, turning over and to a new leaf, and things are gonna be better, and then it just crashes down and you lose hope.
Yeah, it's so discouraging. You know, it's like being in quicksand. You just can't pull yourself out of this.
No matter how hard you try.
Between getting ripped off every other day and needing your fix and not having really friends that you can trust.
Yeah, and I'm like a social butterfly. Like, I'm out there and I talk to everybody, you know? And people, like, I used to be really nice whenever I was still in Bakersfield, and I got taken advantage of. Like, people were constantly, like, taking my kindness for weakness. So when I came out here, I kind of turned into a bitch, you know? Like, I was also kind of spoiled, you know? And I was mean to a lot of people. I was just plain mean. I was a bully. And, like, not even really a bully. I was just mean. I was a bitch. And a lot of people now, they hold that against me, and they don't like me because of it. And, like, I was 17 years old, you know? Like, I was with a guy who I was miserable with, and they, like, whenever he left me, I decided that every day I want to do better and treat people better than I did the day before, because that's the thing about drugs out here, is they stunt your growth emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever. But mostly only if you allow them to. If you allow yourself to, like, recognize whenever you've done something wrong, or when something's not working, or when you made a mistake, recognize it, you can learn from it and you can grow, and not be stuck as, like, you know, in that childish mental state. And yeah, the only reason I got in that fight with a black guy the other night was because I was let down again and left out in the cold all night. Like, there's been nights whenever I've just had no blanket, just sitting on the sidewalk. And I try to take care of myself, but it's like, I don't want to live that way anymore. You know, you can't live, I don't, like, especially since winter's coming and stuff, like. But I was so upset that, like, I just wanted to feel something else. I wanted something other. I felt like I want to feel something. I want to hurt. I want something else to hurt, something physical to hurt, rather than feel this emotional pain. So I went out and just like intimidated this. I was actually trying to get my ex to hit me, but he hasn't hit me in a long time. He's my friend, and I feel really bad for it. It was actually kind of fucked up for me, but he wouldn't do it. And this black guy was like, I would have knocked her out already. And so I was like, whoop. And I hit him first though. So
you're a fighter.
Yeah. I smiled after he hit me. I laughed, and I was like, finally got what I wanted. But now, like, I have another scar on my face, and it really hurts. And it felt good last night because nothing else hurt. You know, like, I was like, I like to fight, though. It feels good. Like, it's something, like, maybe someday I can get into kickboxing. I'm only 23.
You're only 23?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, what's my age again?
Do you have any regrets?
Oh, come on. I regret a lot of stuff, but I don't think I regret them enough to... Most of them, like, big stuff, I don't regret because I regret a lot of the people I've hurt, but I don't regret, like, a lot of my mistakes because I've learned from them. I wouldn't be who I am today. And I honestly think I'm a better person. I become a better person with every passing moment because that's life, you know? You grow or you don't. And you can't grow if you can't recognize what's not right, you know? You can't learn. And, like, I'm a learner, you know? Like, I'm not perfect. Like, I do have issues with being right, you know? Like, I'm an arguer. I should have been a lawyer or something. But,
and what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your 23 years?
You need to love yourself, you know? You can't do anything unless you have love for yourself. You know, you can't, that, like, just a little bit at least, you know, like, of confidence in yourself that you can overcome. You're not supposed to, like, bury pain. You're supposed to overcome it, you know? Mm-hmm. And that right there is a lesson. You don't bury pain, you overcome it.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, Maxine, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for hearing it.
And I wish you the best of luck out there.
Okay.
You're young. You have a lot of time to
change
the direction of your life.
Thank God.